was getting his first, along with Quentin Nelson.
What's good, everybody? AMLoB Podcast going live for the first time in a few weeks. We got, of course, most of the usual. We got the usual suspects, and then another guest appearance by our boy Cineo.
Suspects.
Yeah.
Ouch.
Well. Oh, stop it. but yeah, so you got me, got Emmons, we got Corey, and then we got Crips along with
what's good?
Along with Cineo. So power rankings, probably bullshit a little bit with Cineo.
What you say?
Probably bullshit a little bit with Cineo. You heard me right.
Cineo, I don't know if you heard, but you got like a 3-game suspension coming your way. Too many podcast appearances. You gotta sit all your
3-game suspension for being the only person who ever wants to come on with us.
Oh God, we're never gonna get anybody on this shit again.
Nah, but it's been a while, so we're back at it. We're gonna try to make sure we're producing as much content for y'all as we can. So, guess we get into these power rankings. And at number 1,
we got Pook. Wow, Pook. I am the only one that I ruined the unanimousness of it. I did not have Pook at number 1. I had Josh at number 1.
I just put him there because he's
Super Bowl champion and he's still undefeated. So I mean,
yeah, I put Josh there because he's allowed like 40 fewer points than anybody else in the league, and he's only scored like 25 points fewer than Pook.
Ooh, I got a safety. Nice.
Oh, sexy. So yeah, I still think in a head-to-head between the two of them, Josh would win, and that's always kind of been my little bit of my mental tiebreaker. Who I think's the better team right now, and so I want to
see a Cineo and Josh bowl. To be honest, this year.
I mean, we do play in the season.
Oh, do you really? I'm looking forward to that.
Oh my God.
To be fair, though, the last time they went head-to-head, Pook did beat Josh.
Yeah, I think it'd be good. I think Josh, with the way he's playing right now, he's 7-0, in spite of that. In spite of what ended up being a 2-game suspension that could have.
Dude, this lag delay is so bad; it just made my tight end run backwards.
Jeez.
I
think it's close.
It's not bad on defense, though.
I think both of them are playing really well right now. I think really more than anything, you're splitting hairs on who the better team is right now.
Yeah, I mean, to me, Pook's schedule has been a little bit better than Josh's. I mean, a little bit tougher than Josh's, in my opinion. I think that's part of the reason why I went the way I did was because the schedule is tougher. Plus, Pook wins Super Bowl, and then still being undefeated, finally getting over that playoff hump.
Yeah, that was crazy to see. That's his first title since ever.
Yeah,
that was his first AMLoB one.
He was 0-3 previously.
Yeah,
was he even 0-3?
Yeah, he was
0-2.
No, he's 0-2. He's 0-2.
I thought he lost one in Madden 17.
No,
he never made one.
Yeah, he got to conference and then lost.
Okay. Yeah,
but also another Pook v. Josh is. Pook picked up Bouye, and Josh also got rid of Telvin.
Yeah.
I don't know about that one, Chief. But I guess he did have to re-sign him into a year. So, but it's he does have that other what's his face he drafted, the linebacker he drafted, who I can't remember.
Guys, I'm scoring points with my Lions right now.
Oh my God, no, it's fake news.
Fake news.
Yeah, those are definitely.
You're like you have like the
financial moves.
Scoring offense in the NFL.
Dude,
it's sad.
Well,
scored 109 points in 7 games.
It's been atrocious. Not gonna lie, got a lot of interceptions.
Yeah, I know. You've got like a 3 to 3 to 16 TD to
Okay.
ratio.
Whoa. It's been a rough year. It's been a rough year in Detroit. Okay, I'm just keeping it same for the rest of the league.
I threw 7 picks in the game, so.
Yeah, you're tied with me for interceptions, which says a lot because I usually throw. I've got 13, and I saw you had 13, and I was like, what?
Yeah, 7 of those came in one game.
Yeah,
and then like 3 in the game against Connor. It was terrible, atrocious. I have been playing like complete
Did you say
trash.
Connor is terrible, or you?
I said I've been playing terrible.
Okay, I thought you said I threw 3 against Connor, who's terrible and atrocious. I was like, what the fuck? Like,
no, I said I've been playing. No, I wouldn't throw no shot at Connor like that.
Bro, that's what I'm about to say.
No, that's disrespectful. The only person in the NFC South I'll probably throw a shot at is you, Crips, because that's just what we do. We go back and forth. But
you and me do go back and forth. We jaw at each other a little bit. I respect it though. I respect anybody that jaws with me.
You taking shots at Connor, LJ?
No, who's taking shots at Connor?
I respect anybody that'll jaw with me though, because that's just like I enjoy it, and so anyone that'll kind of feed into that, I enjoy it. So that's what makes our little. Now that I've got the Saints too, and you got the Panthers, I think that's what makes this rivalry so fun.
This whole thing is fun. I mean, Connor has his Bucks, so
we need Levi to somehow end up with the Falcons, and everything will be set. We'll have.
Oh my goodness.
The 4 of us might actually like kill each other. Like, yeah,
that would be even more of a division of death than it is right now.
Yeah, and that's saying something. Well, we might want to watch that out because the Falcons got kind of his first place in the division right now, but
yeah,
it would just from a standpoint, there'd be 4 teams all with their own favorite teams. Like it's different when you have your team.
Yeah,
I mean, and I think as much as I've struggled to remain interested in Madden 19, the fact that I enjoy this league so much just because I have my Saints can kind of reaffirms that in my mind. But,
we need to get back to these power.
Yeah, I was gonna say this was supposed to be a debate between the first and second team. It kind of devolved from there into some self-biased talk about the greatest division in AMLoB, but that's a conversation for another day.
There we go.
What Pook's done this year has been really impressive. I mean, what he did last year, winning the Super Bowl, obviously impressive. But he's kind of lacked that supreme regular season dominance that he kind of became known for. And so to see him start 7-0 in pretty much dominating everybody he's played against has been, it's a return to what he kind of created as his own personal norm.
Yeah.
So it was that's been good to see. As far as Josh at 2, I mean, well,
I was going to say, I think we covered that a little bit in number 1, but I mean, Josh, probably about as impressive as anybody. I was going to say, dude only has 1 regular season loss in 3.5 seasons.
Yeah, it's absurd. Also, Tua just took a bad sack, like a really, really, really fucking bad sack. But that's neither here nor there. And then we actually have a podcast participant slotting in at the number 3 spot, the unanimously number 3 Seattle Seahawks. Which
led by Shaquille Griffin.
Well, since we have a little bit of we could just to mix it up a little bit. Cindy, why don't you, since you're actually here, you would tell us a little bit about your season and some things that have just about your team a little bit and how you think your season's going and everything.
Well, my season's going wonderful right now, even though I got to do a whole entire defense adjustment. Since Emmons led the lynch mob after me the other night.
A lynch mob, jeez.
They all wanted that head. But Chris says he's beat me multiple times, but yeah. My team is rebuild. I just made a trade to get another offensive lineman.
That's always good.
Yeah.
Yeah, need to protect Dak as much as I can.
I thought that was a good trade for you because you.
You mean Dakota?
Dakota, yeah.
Dakota. Call him by his proper name. Dakota! Get your ass down here right now.
Yeah, I mean, you've done. I was gonna say from the season that you've had, it's been impressive to watch, especially when you build it on top of the 13-3 from last year. It's really impressive, especially in a league as tough as this one. This is about as competitive as it gets as far as leagues go.
In my opinion, I would agree with that for sure.
So, I mean, that in itself is just really crazy. That in itself is just really crazy. So, I mean, I think it's been an impressive season by you, especially in probably arguably the second best division in the league, the NFC West. So,
I
would say for sure what you've done this year is it's massively impressive because you not only came into a situation a couple years ago where that team was a little more than dysfunctional, but you managed to not only turn it around pretty quickly, but have gone from taking that dysfunctional team and been able to make a lot of pieces and put a lot of guys in situations where they weren't in beforehand where they could now succeed. I think Shaq Griffin is being the best example of that because I think he was kind of miscast in that
trade Rashad Penny for a running back to draft a running back. This Rashad Penny
traded Rashad Penny for a pick that he used to draft. Yeah, Rashad fucking Penny, and then quit the league after week 1 because your trade didn't work out.
Yeah, that was.
Now, I've been very impressed by what you've been able to put together with that team rather quickly, and I think that about sums up the 3 spot. Coming in at 4, we have another almost unanimous, and it's Bishes at 4. I was once again the only person that disagreed with the vote. I have Bishes at 5, and I put Shan at 4 with his Rams, but we can get to that in a second. As for Bishes, coming off a game where he thoroughly handled Connor for the most part, and having been in a party chat with Connor, I think it was more so his mic than anything, but me and Caden both thought he was trying to strangle somebody every other play because he started doing the mic, the way the mic was picking it up, it sounded like he was doing that serial killer breathing, he was about to cut somebody's dick off or something. It was rough. I was concerned for his well-being a little bit during that game, and Connor didn't have a lot of things go his way from what I heard, but at the same time, that's what you're going to get with Bishop and his Bills, the way he dominates. He's made that team into something stupid good. Tremaine Edmonds is something stupid. It's something stupid good.
Yeah, Tremaine Edmonds is beast, but Bishop has done a great job with that squad as far as building it. And he's been impressive too. Kropog is probably getting fed quite a bit, but
hey, you got to do what you got to do nowadays.
Yeah, I was scared.
That's for better or worse, whatever you want to phrase it. That's kind of how EA decided that they wanted the game to go. Is that you gotta feed stats to your guys that you want to develop, which explains why I've never been good at developing quarterbacks. But that's neither here nor there. But Kropog has become, I think, quickly one of the top 2 or 3 tight ends, and it's a bit early to say, being that it's been a season and a half, but I think that he's a name that I personally have circled on my list of potential all-pros that we could get to in a few short months with just how well he's played. But No, I've been very impressed by the season he's put together. I'm not quite sure. I can't remember off the top of my head who his 1 losses to, but
it looks like it's a force loss or a sim loss to Levi.
Okay.
So he's technically undefeated in user games.
Yeah. Which I'm guessing is why he ended up 4th in everyone's rankings except mine. Which I yeah, not the greatest ranking by me in hindsight, but I was looking at the statistics.
Crips, you've made worse ones involving yourself.
hey, in my defense for putting Chan at 4, he, in the same reason of how I was saying that I put Josh at 1 because he had allowed 40 fewer points than anyone else. Chan has outscored everybody by about 50 points. What he's done on offense is just stupid good. So
that's understandable.
I put him. They were both very close for me as a close 4 and 5, and that was kind of my. And we'll get to it. And I guess this is kind of a decent transition piece. But what he's done on offense this year is just insane. I mean, he's scored 200, and I think it's 253 in 6.5 games or so, or in 6.5 games. Wow, in like 6 games.
Yeah.
So, he's scored less than 30 points once, and it was when he scored 27. He scored more than 40 points in, I think, all but 2 games this year. I mean, which is just crazy. But I think, in my opinion, it was in the same vein that Pook and Josh are very much 1 and 2 in my mind. And I think Cineo is in a class of his own at 3, and I think we all kind of agree with that. I think Vicious and Chan are right there too at that 4-5. It's like a 4A, 4B to me.
Yeah, I mean they both have been playing extremely well. So I mean, they've both been playing extremely well. So I mean, it's not like you can go wrong either way.
Yeah, I mean, you're splitting hairs.
Yeah.
And I think Clemson's about to fucking go up 3 scores on Bama.
Crips is going to slip into depression here soon.
Yep. Look out for it. Look out for it, everybody. But
unfortunately, I can't go find Cielo with all her knives. But that's neither here nor there. Anyone who gets that reference will.
But yeah. So I think that went into Chan at 5. Chan definitely has been just putting up points at a crazy rate. That I mean, it doesn't look like it's going to slow up anytime soon. So.
Yeah. No, he's just it's been and I think everything that you look at all the top 7, really, I think it's the top 5 teams, and I think there's a difference to me beyond the top 5 and everybody else right now, and it's the biggest difference between those top 5 and everybody else is the consistency.
Yeah,
it's really what it is. It's what they've done from a consistency standpoint to. Those what those top 5 teams have. It sums it up with themselves. The top 5 teams have a combined 2 losses between them right now.
Yeah.
And it's dominant defense, dominant offense. Dominating everybody that they go out on the field against consistently. And I think, the biggest kind of one way or the other guys is that, Chan is up here with 250 points in 6 games, and Josh has allowed 83 points in 6 or 7 games or whatever. 7 games.
Yeah.
But they're all in that same range. They're all less than I think they're all less than 120 points allowed through 7 games, and they're all plus 200, which is just remarkable.
Yeah, that definitely is. You summed it up perfectly. Top 5 teams have definitely been in like a class by themselves compared to everyone else this season. So, yeah, that's the thought on those guys.
Next up, I'll just mention both of them since they're right here neck and neck with each other, and I think we'll probably be intertwined at least for the next week until we have to redo these rankings again. And LJ is much lower than he is now if the current score holds. But you have Falcons at 6 and the Panthers at 7, and Jeff is doing everything he can to cement LJ's potential fall out of the top 10. But again, we'll see how that holds up. I don't know what the current score is. I just know it was 21-3 earlier.
LJ looks like he's up 34-27 with 3 minutes left.
Oh, LJ you came all the way back just quietly, didn't you?
Don't count LJ out until you see double zeros.
He was down 27-3 at one point.
Jeez.
He's on a 31-point run. It's nuts.
You love to see it.
No.
No.
I know what y'all are trying to do here. No.
Oh, so we have So Falcons at 6. I mean, in terms of surprises of the season, he played well last year, but I would say him currently being in first place in the NFC South, to me, is the surprise of the season thus far with his 5-2 record. I know at least one of those was a sim, but one of those 5 wins was a sim because he ended up beating me in a fair sim. But either way, what he's done this season has been very, very impressive, and I mean he's got a head-to-head win over LJ, and I think that's what gave him the narrow. Ended up as a 3. They were both 6 or 7 in everybody's rankings, and he was 6th in 3 people's, while LJ was 6th in 2. So he got the narrow margin of victory there. But I think both of them have been impressive this year. I personally will admit I did lose to LJ in week 1, and as we were joking about, I think that was beforehand that rivalry that we kind of have going back and forth. It's a fun one, but the Falcons looks to be a good addition to this division, and has helped us currently cement what I think is the best division in AMLoB, in my opinion. And I think that the rankings hold up to that, seeing as all 4 of us are in the top 13, 12, something like that. But no, it's been a
Crips at 5-3. You're the 8th seed in the NFC.
Coming into the week, I was 4-3 and in last place in the division, and then I won and Connor lost, and so now Connor's 4-3 in last place in the division. If we both win next week, Connor will be 5-3 in last place in the division. So it has been a very competitive. It has been very competitive to this point, and I'm just happy to be here, man. I started the season I think 1-2 or 1-3 or something like that. So I'm just happy to be here right now. but no, it's been. I think that both of them have played well this year. If anyone has anything else to add on the Falcons or LJ's Panthers. I feel like I've been taking up a lot of the mic time.
I mean, Falcons, I played in last season or the season before, I can't remember which, and since he's joined, he's had some pretty big wins against some tenured users who have proven themselves in the league, so he's definitely a strong user to have in the league. And then LJ's LJ, he's got his entire prior 2 cycles track record, and then he's already taken this team that he's got now to the Super Bowl. So 2 really good squads, well deserving of top 10 for the current power rankings.
I would agree.
I would agree on that one too.
Next, don't know if we can say it's a surprise since Zeke's healthy, but coming in at our number 8 spot is Isaiah with his Cowboys. And this was the most disputed ranking to this point, as we had three of us had him at 8, one of us had him at 9, and another had him at 10. So he was top 10 unanimously, but it was just where in the bottom 3 people had him. And, he's at it. I mean, with Zeke, I believe Zeke's been healthy all year, or at least the vast majority of it. And I think that's been very, very impressive because it aids him a lot because of how well his offense tends to function when he has Zeke, to take a lot of pressure off his passing game, especially now that he's got his rookie quarterback that can open up lanes for Zeke a little bit too because of his legs. And Martell's been playing well for him in terms of a game managing standpoint right now. And I believe he finds himself at 5-3 right now, currently in first place in that division. And I guess it helps when the team that won your division and represented the Super Bowl last year is like 2-4. But
well, Isaiah, honestly, when Zeke is healthy, he's definitely been one of the better teams.
I would agree. When he's got a run game, he's shown consistently, not only in this league but in other leagues as well, when he can run the ball and isn't forced to air it out all the time. And I don't think it just goes for him. I think it goes for a lot of people. But when he's able to have a run game and Zeke gives him one of the best run games, he is consistently a very competitive and user who wins a lot of games. And I think last year with Zeke being hurt, it kind of opened up the window for one of the flukiest Super Bowl
but you're
runs.
saying flukiest.
But I'm not saying one of the flukiest, but I'm not. But all I'm saying is that
magical. Come on.
Is it Chris here? Defend yourself.
No, he's not.
No. That's
me.
That's Crip's actual name.
My name's Chris.
That's his IR. That's his IRL name.
Okay, I was going to say.
Yeah, no, he. I don't want to say fluky. All I'm saying is that he's now 2-4 since he traded away Aaron Rodgers, and I think he's once again realizing that Rodgers, which is something that I think a lot of people have had to go through a kind of realization process with in this Madden. That quarterback?
It's almost like someone in my division had to deal with that issue.
Yeah, it's almost like you can shut the fuck up. Yes, I am one of those people that has had to go through and realize that there are a lot of throws you can make with those elite top 2 or 3 quarterbacks that you can't make with anybody else. And Chris rode that to the Super Bowl with Aaron Rodgers. And now that he does not have Aaron Rodgers anymore, he has not been the most successful this year. But it is what it is. But but I like that it's more of a factor than it has been in years past. You see elite quarterback play stand out, and I know it's kind of a slight little side tangent real quick, but as they have killed this game this year, they have consistently kept the fact that elite quarterback talent plays like elite quarterback talent, and I believe more so than any year in the last few years. And I think that is very noticeable with how a lot of the ups and downs you've had with people in this cycle.
To be honest, like elite players in general play, from what I've noticed, play a lot of big time moments.
I agree.
From what I've seen, just based off of the fact that, like even running backs, guys that don't have a decent running game and they struggle without having a good back there, it just becomes very apparent.
Yeah, and it was kind of a conversation that was coming up in Maine yesterday that I think is a big part about an elite running back that a lot of people will overlook is the ability to do everything and be able to Which is one thing. Like people like I'll get people inquiring about Kamara a lot just because running backs can be in a lot of people's eyes valued valuably, especially like high end guys. But I refuse to move. I refuse to move him one because my price that I want is higher than what anyone is willing to pay.
Yeah,
and that's the main thing. But the reason my price is higher too is because he allows me to do anything that I want to with my running back when he is on the field. He can run inside with power. He can run outside with speed. He can catch the ball out of the backfield. He can run routes like a receiver. He can block. And the fact that he can do all of that makes it difficult to know on a given play what exactly it is that I'm going to do with him. When I put Ajayi in the game, he can't catch like Kamara can out of the backfield. He drops a decent amount of passes out of the backfield for me, and he's not as good on the perimeter. But he's good up the middle, and it makes my offense a little more predictable. When I put Ty Montgomery in there, I'm not going to run Ty Montgomery up the middle 10, 15 times. He'll break in half like a fucking twig. I can put him. I can line him.
Sounded really aggressive.
It is. But that's how it is, though. And I think that it's that ability to do so much that is what separates those elite running backs this year from everybody else. Because those elite guys can do all of that, and it aids in that unpredictability factor from a schematic standpoint. And it's that. And it's one of those things that you don't always see in the raw numbers of what a guy does in terms of his yards per carry, because you can run inside zone at a shotgun and average 5 yards a pop. But it's the ability to do so many things out of so many different sets and formations, and that unpredictability factor is what allows those elite guys to truly separate themselves from everybody else.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's with any of these elite players, because to be honest, like Corey was saying it, I believe either yesterday or today, like the amount of plays that DJ Moore can make simply by being an elite guy, you know, those aren't plays you get from your receivers on a regular basis.
It's the same thing with Mike. I had a play when I was playing Joe last night where Mike went up. I didn't make the greatest read in the world. But Mike said, I'm gonna save you. And he went up in double coverage and caught the ball, rotating backwards with one hand in double coverage. Like, that's not a play that that's not a play that guys just make. Most guys don't make that play. I mean, but in general, like you were saying, it's elite guys stand out and play elite this year. And it's one thing that I think is what makes those elite guys so valuable and makes them, and it's different than in years past, because you can't just throw scrubs out there and have the same level of success that you could in years past. Like, yeah, you can still find success with a 96 speed receiver, because Madden is always going to be like that. You're always going to be able to find some success with guys that have those niche abilities, which it is realistic too. A guy that is fast as fuck is going to be able to get behind people sometimes. But
very true.
But it's more. But But it's one of those things that, like, as much as they've killed a lot of the things that I loved about this game when the year started, the ability for elite players to stand out amongst everybody else relative at their position is one thing that, for the most part, has maintained, and it's one thing that I think is very good. That little side tangent aside, we were talking power rankings at some point 10 minutes ago. Coming in at number 9 is Suff, who took the remaining 2 8th place votes that didn't go to Isaiah, and then garnered the rest of them were 9th. And they actually are tied. Isaiah gets the tiebreaker, having received more higher votes, but they are technically tied at with an 8.6 average rank. Suff just delivered Chan with his first loss of the season in what I believe was Chan's lowest scoring game of the year. He only put up 27. Only 27. I feel like we're talking about the fucking Kansas City Chiefs. But no, what Suff has been able to do, he's I would put Suff as one of the top 2 or 3 schemers in terms of what he does. Yeah, I think Corey right now I would have to just put at number 1 just because it's what he does. I mean, that defense, he schemes to be much better than it should be. And Suff has more talent, so it kind of aids in it. But he plays generally very well and above, I think, especially on the back end.
So unlike you.
Oh.
Okay.
Emmons comes in shooting shots.
I mean, at least I have some wins this year.
Oh,
no. Hey, I do have a win. Thank you very much.
Oh, you do have a win?
I do.
Okay. I mean,
oh no.
I had to beat Joker for Corey.
That's fair. I mean, I guess at least I don't have a 0.3 touchdown to interception ratio. But
you know what, Cripps?
I might only have a 1.0 touchdown to interception ratio, but at least it's not.
We can bring up other leagues.
Oh no.
Ooh.
Oh no.
Where I'm not thinking.
But no, we have. Why don't you throw your since you so surprisingly rejoined us? Why don't you toss your input in on Suff at number 9?
Suff at number 9. I think I had him at 9.
You did.
Suff's doing Suff things. He's gonna lose his division.
He's gonna lose his division with like 4 or 5 losses, and he'll make it in as a wild card. Which
it's a super tough division. Senio's undefeated and he's playing great this year. And then you got Chan with the Rams.
Yeah.
I mean, and then you have Suff and Robert. I mean, it's one of the hardest divisions in the league for sure.
I think it's definitely.
Yeah, Robert's record is misleading.
Yeah, and I think Suff is almost like it's a lot of us who can be really good, but he has like a few of those bad games in the year, which is why I think will lead to like either Chan or Senio winning the division.
Mm-hmm. I mean, and it's. I think he's, as we've seen, kind of in everyone in this. I'd say probably everyone in the 6th down through the 12th spot, 13th, 14th spot, even is the big difference between the top 5 and all of them. It's the consistency factor because I mean, you go from 2 losses combined in the top 5 to everybody else has at least 2 losses.
Right.
And, we're getting into the 3-loss territory after this. So but it's I think
you can't lose more than 5 games in this league and feel safe.
Oh no. You can't lose more than I personally think you can't lose more than 4 and feel safe.
That's kind of how the NFC has been the first part of this cycle. I would agree. It's 4 games. It's 5 or 6 in the AFC.
I mean, that's what I mean, and I think the NFC West and the NFC South both show that, and that you have the top 3 teams in the NFC West have a combined 3 losses, and the 4th place team in the NFC South has 3 losses. I mean, you've got it's very competitive, especially in those 2 divisions, which have combined for most of the wild card. Most of the wild card teams come from there just as a result of there being so little room for error everywhere else.
Very true.
You have
AFC is such shit this season right now.
I would love to be.
I would say top heavy would be the better description.
We have 5 of 16 teams with a 500, better than 500. Ouch.
Maybe that's what happens when the entire conference decides to tank. So speaking of not the AFC, coming in at number 10, we have Austin and his Bears, who have received an almost unanimous 10th place rating, except Bish just put him outside of his top 10 and very generously put me at number 9. But I just had to say that just because I just want to say thank you for Bishop for thinking I was deserving of a top 10 ranking because even I didn't put myself in the top 10.
I thought like you were in my head about top 10.
Rounding
out the top 10.
No,
You were in my head.
I was 11th.
No, I know. I'm saying I was thinking about like you.
Oh,
And I was going back and forth between it.
Yeah, I put Austin above me because he beat me. He beat me
That
straight up
was
earlier
exactly
this year.
what I
Well,
did.
my thing with Austin was 4-1 before he went on vacation.
Exactly.
So, I mean, to me, that was the separating factor.
Yeah,
Was
he's
that.
been very good this year, and I think that the one thing that's going to be tough is, we were just talking about it, is he's in the same boat as me, that we're both in that we have basically one loss to give the rest of the season. And it's just, with as competitive as the NFC is, it's tough to feel secure when you can only lose one game in 8 weeks.
Very true.
Yeah, I feel like Austin's a little more safe than you are, to be honest.
Oh,
in the division.
For sure, because he's got the leg up to win his division, and so it doesn't right now. It doesn't really. I don't want to say it doesn't matter, because it matters, but it's just if he can, you have a little more room to give when you have the leg up to win your division, because you could win. You could go 11-5, and if no one else in your division is above that, then you win the division. I mean, I'm most likely. I'm currently in trying to vie for a wild card spot right now, which is a clusterfuck. I mean, and that's what the NFC. That's the best way I can think to describe the NFC wild card picture over the first 3 seasons of this cycle, and including this season now, is it's a fucking clusterfuck.
Yeah,
I'm a little sad I don't have your first, just seeing how the NFC playoff race is going.
Yeah,
I'm glad I have Dicey's first.
Oh,
yeah.
You traded away my first round pick, didn't you?
Mm-hmm. That was part of the deal to get Burris.
Yeah, I mean, for what it's worth,
I got who had my first.
I'm not. Half the reason I was encouraged to win as much as I was is because I know I don't have my first, and so I just kind of, whoever ends up with my first, just want to fuck with them a little bit, since I won't be on the. I definitely won't be on the receiving end of any value from that, but
I will not either now.
yeah, it is what it is. But yeah, I mean that kind of rounds out our top 10, and then since we're just kind of spitballing everything, I'll just kind of run down a little bit. I ended up at 11, and then we finally had another AFC representative, as there were only 3 in the top 10.
Yeah.
There were only 3, and it was the 3 it was 3 of the top 5 teams were AFC teams, because you had Pook at 1, Josh at 2, and
Bish's at 4.
And Bish's at 4. And then you don't have anyone else until
Roger, probably.
Until Roger at 12. And then you didn't have anyone else after that until Snippy at 14.
Me and Corey aren't representing the commissions well in the power rankings.
No, you're not. Y'all are. I had you, Emmons, at 27, and Corey at 26.
We're representing now here, Corey.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just hating though. I got 6, 10, 18. So 1, 2, 3, 4. My losses are by 18 total points.
Yeah,
I'm a very good 1-5.
And then
what did Bill Parcells say? You are what your record says you are.
Yeah, you don't get brownie points here. You don't get fucking brownie points. You're no, and to round out the top 15, it was you had Connor at 13, Snippy at 14, and then Joe at 15. And
where did Isaiah end up?
He was 8.
He was 8.
Oh, good for the little lad.
Yep.
Beautiful lad.
Yeah. I mean, you're. I mean, we were talking about it earlier, but you're seeing how the effect of a consistent running game tends to have.
For sure.
It's as much as it's and we were saying that it's important for everybody, but I think it's really.
And I think
he's
being able to add the read
shining
option
image
with
of
Tater Tot over there, it makes it even more dangerous.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you can hold that extra defender, and you make it 10 on 11.
Right.
Especially having that mobile QB. But No, that rounds out the top 15. Trying to think. Do we have any shop talk we want to go into, or?
No, I mean, I think we have. I think we have. I think we covered everything as far as the power rankings are concerned. One thing that I will say though, that I do want to say is that I appreciate like the parity in this league, man. Because like even the team like like I just played the Jets, very tough game, and
did you win?
I did 34-33.
I told you would.
He was down 27-3 and went on a 31-point run to end the game.
Me and Senio kept telling you just to relax, you got this, and look at this.
I was trying to fuck with him.
Out until you see double zeros.
Exactly.
I was trying to fuck with him late in the game because we got to him and the Falcons guy in the standings, and I go, well, we got Falcons right above LJ until and it'll be that way until Jeff knocks him out of the top 10 after this week.
Yeah, but that just shows you the parity. You know what I'm saying? You have, Jets who's 0-8, but with us slowly building this team. The Jets aren't exactly a great team to start off the CFM with. But
who had the Jets before him?
But it
was Michael.
Yeah, Michael did.
Even we were talking about it when we were talking after our game the other day, and he's one of those guys that you notice too, who's typically more competitive in most other leagues, and I think you notice it in the closeness of some of the games.
Yeah,
but it's just it's the parity of what the league is. That I like it because there's no easy wins. Even the lower ranked teams. I mean, Robert is? I think Robert ended up in the mid-20s.
Yeah,
he was right at like 22. And he's a guy that in VFL is winning his division and is going to make the playoffs. He made the playoffs. Won his division.
Won his division.
Did he not win his division?
I wasn't going to say it, but
disrespecting LJ out here.
Okay. Y'all know I don't know records that well. He made the playoffs is my point, okay? You a fucking asshole.
Taking shots at you, LJ.
Hey, I'm always trying to take shots at LJ. This is something new. But my point is that's a guy who is 11-5 in VFL, made the playoffs, and is currently like on pace to win 4 games.
Yeah,
I mean, and that's not anything against him. It's just what the talent level is in this league. And my God, Damian Harris.
And a talented team in this team building in this league is huge. Because there's a lot of talented users. So like if you don't build your team right the first few seasons you're in here, it's hard to
be a long
win.
haul.
And that's why before I left, I heard you guys talking about Senio having to take over what good old Shank did to that team.
It's quite so impressive.
Coming into this league late and being able to build the team the way you want it and be able to win, win impressively. I don't remember what you finished last year, but I think you had a first round bye, didn't you?
13-3.
You had a first round bye, didn't you? Yeah. So you went third, and that was your first season, right?
First full season.
Well, my second season I still count as my first season still count as the 16 games.
Came in early.
You
came in like week 3, I think, or week 2 or 3.
Yeah, so I mean, it's being able to take over somebody else's mess because Shank didn't really do a good job with that team. So
he traded away Rashad Penny and then traded away Rashad Penny for a 3rd-round pick and then used his 1st-round pick to draft Rashad Penny.
And so that's why you have
Andy traded away Shaq Griffin.
First.
So you have he traded away Shaq Griffin for Rashad Penny. That's the pick he used to take the running back.
Yeah. And then you got guys and it's just tough. Yeah. I mean, you come in this league late, it's be able to win is impressive. I mean, and then if you come in the league late and you lose a little bit, I mean, it's tough to do in this league. I mean, let alone be in the league and win consistently, which is why it's impressive when you have guys consistently at the top.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that's what really impresses me about the top 5 guys that I think they're so separated from everybody right now is that they're all in their own little subgroups within the top 5, but it's like everybody, it's the top 5, it's three spaces, and then it's everybody else right now, in my opinion.
I agree.
It's crazy.
And it's one of those things where, it's one of those things where, we have, it gives you a real like actual NFL schedule type of feel where, you know what I'm saying? You have where basically there's no like easy game on your schedule because you're playing against a bunch of other people that are professionals. Like
you can't overlook anybody. You overlook one guy, and then what do you know? You're down 27-3 to a 0-7 team.
Yeah, it happens. It happens to the best of us.
I'm not trying to like that. That's just the most recent example I can think of off the top of my head. But it's just but that's what happens sometimes. I mean, and it's got to be, if that happens, you got to be able to like, get your shit together in your head and be.
You can't make errors in this league. Is another big thing. You can't recover from turnovers.
Yeah, a lot more games, and like I say about like actual NFL games, a lot more of these games are lost than won. You know what I'm saying? Where it's a lot of times, a lot of user error that causes these losses. Trying to throw into a tighter window than you probably should have, or something to that effect. Of course, we know Madden has this fuckery, but a lot of times it's just like one of those things where you look back at it and you're like, I probably shouldn't have made that read. So yeah, I mean that to me that's the dopest thing about it, is just everybody has that opportunity to kind of what I'm saying, the league has quite a bit of parity in it, and I appreciate that.
And I love it too. I mean, and we've talked about the activity standpoint. That's something I'm beating to the ground every time I'm able to make it on this podcast, but I love it too from the standpoint of like late in the season. Is as much as you'll sometimes run into like tanking issues and things like that, you'll also run into guys who late in the year will, you'll have those little personal Super Bowls where it's like you're going up against it's 2-9 going against 8-3, and you win the game because they're able to win the game. And I mean, you don't see that in most other leagues. Usually you see 8-3 and 2-9, and that math actually adds up. I'm kind of surprised that I made that work. And you see that, and it's usually
it's like, go ahead, give them the force.
It's Brad Pond saying, "Man, you're so much better than me. I got an hour of availability.
Brad Pond.
I'll just play my AP. No big deal.
Taking shots at Brad Pond.
Intra-league shot.
Bradley Puddle.
Intra-league shot.
Honestly, I do feel like it's like a league turf war sometimes when I'm at RFL.
Bro, it really is sometimes.
So I deemed us the name AMLoBians. AMLoBians. That's what we are.
That's funny.
I like that. I like AMLoBians though, just because sometimes
Brad came at stuff. He was like, Brad was like, I don't know why I listened to you and your crew of like 8 guys. So we're Stuff's crew.
Stuff's crew. Oh my god.
That's funny.
That's
actually hilarious. Oh, Brad Pond. But anyways, yes. Yeah, I mean, I think it's dope.
You guys want me to tell Brad Pond the Giants are open?
Dear God.
So he can come in here and get dumped.
So you can come in here and roster them to get back at me for the whole Aaron Rodgers situation. Let's not.
That's true.
Because once he realizes I'm a commissioner in this league, that's exactly what he's gonna fucking do.
Yeah.
2 roster dumps on the Giants. Yikes.
Oh.
To be honest, though, fixing that roster wasn't nearly as bad as I thought.
No, it wasn't that bad.
No, it
took time.
The only thing that skeeted me, like remotely, was when Suff, after not being in chat all day, the first thing he says is, "Hey guys, I noticed DL wasn't updated, so I updated it for y'all."
Yeah, I was gonna choke Suff through the app.
I almost kicked him from chat, like for real.
Suff's been kicked from chat more than anybody.
Even more than Levi? Wow.
Yeah.
Yes. Stuff gets kicked from chat as a joke, like once every 13 days. I swear to God, it's I don't even. It's not even like funny anymore. It's just
It's almost expected.
Yeah, it's the norm. You don't see anyone tell someone to get the strap when Sup said some suspect shit. You just see Vicious or Emmons make Connor a trusted user, and some shit's about to go down.
And just lets Connor, yeah.
Okay, in my defense, I've never put.
I think it's always been Vicious, but
I've removed stuff though. I have removed stuff.
you have removed him.
Yeah, but yeah. So it's been a good podcast, fellas. I'm happy we're back.
I am too. I'm actually glad I'm going to be able to make most of these this semester. That was outside of randomly popping in 3 minutes before some of them would end. It was weird.
Hey guys, how's it going? Oh, we're ending at Crips. Oh, okay.
All right, cool.
Okay, y'all have a good one.
Or Crips famous don't do drugs, kids.
Yeah.
Carry the pod.
I never know what to say. Don't do drugs, kids. the random life lessons with Crips. Life advice number 1: if you think if you got a house and you think your spouse is cheating on you, put tape over the garage door. That way you can see if they leave in the middle of the night.
I'm done. I can't with this man.
Where's the wheeze, Crips? Where's the wheeze?
I can't with this man, yo.
There it is.
But yeah, anyways, I think we've done enough tonight, fellas. So
On that note,
yeah, on that note, Cineo, it's always a pleasure having you on, man. You are welcome back.
Us.
Yeah, I was going to say you're welcome back anytime. I mean, Vicious is kind of off and on as far as how often he's on here, so it's always good to have somebody,
Let's not forget when Vicious was drunk, and he completely just destroyed every stat cap in VFL that night.
Oh my god!
Live on the pod, he was like
Calvin Ridley game.
Live on the pod, he was like, because I think I was playing a game. I come back to the pod, and LJ's like, "You're not gonna believe this." And Vicious was just like, "I did nothing wrong." I'm like, "What happened?"
The best part was he didn't remember any of it the next morning.
Well, it's funny because Vicious just told me, he was like, "Don't look." I was like, "Don't look at what?"
I still love the next morning he didn't remember any of it.
Like that was that.
My favorite was when he tried fighting the suspension and he was like 200 yards over the stat cap, like fucking 2 more touchdowns. It's like, dude.
Yeah.
That was fucking hilarious though.
Yeah, that bad. He obliterated everything.
And that's why they're stat caps, friends.
Yes.
No, they're stat caps because the games in one of the other leagues I had when it half died, and we kind of got rid of the stat caps, and so we would all throw for 1,100 yards every game.
I joined the league a while back, and the first score I seen was 63-0, and I was like, "Oh, well, we allow this in here, huh?"
It's gonna be one of those times.
You just immediately tag Pook. Hey, I found a league for you.
Yeah, but we're gonna get out of here, y'all. Thank y'all for watching. For everybody that was watching, we appreciate y'all in this league. We try to make it as fun as we can for y'all. Yeah, even though sometimes y'all hate us for it, but it's okay. Wow. We'll get over it.
It's okay. We
they just don't know what fun is yet. We have to teach them.
Exactly.
One day you'll understand. One day you'll understand all we did for you.
We'll catch y'all next week. And the national championship won't be on, so hopefully we'll have a little bit more activity because typically we got people in the chat being like, so talking trash about us and stuff like that. So it's all good. Anyways, yeah. But we're gonna get out of here. See y'all later, fellas.
All right, guys.
See you guys.
All right, yeah, have a good one.